Alright guys, welcome back. So I am going to be actually taking some mushrooms out in this video. First thing I'm doing is sterilizing an area to set the lion's mane down. So I've sterilized a couple of books to keep them off the counter, but just in case I'm going to go ahead and sterilize the counter as well with some rubbing alcohol. Just make sure there's nothing around that can infect our mushrooms before we bring them out. Alright. Alright, now that we have a sterile environment, I'm going to go ahead and start taking this apart. According to what I've read, you don't need to turn the unit off when you're going to do this. It is okay to just go ahead and take it apart. Alright, and setting the lion's mane down here on my sterile environment so nothing can infect it. The next thing I want to do, as I said in my short a few minutes ago, is I want to move these mushrooms off of the side here so that they're not growing into the side and getting infected with anything or maybe causing mold. So I'm going to gently do that now, just like that. And always make sure you're not covering up the humidifier hole. Okay. Alright, now that I've done that, the mushroom that I need to get out of here is a really big one up front. So I've read that you can twist and pull the mushroom off or cut the mushroom. I can't even see the stem of this thing, so I'm just going to go in and see what I can figure out. Okay, twisting it is not going so well, so let's see if I can cut. Alright, that seems to work. Alright, so this is our first mushroom coming out. It did shoot spores earlier today. You typically want to avoid that and get it out before that occurs, as that can stop the growth of your mushroom. But not a bad first mushroom on our project. Alright, and I don't want to put this near the lion's mane, so I am going to step over here and put this on a sterile environment real quick. Okay. While I'm in here, I'm going to check this out and see if there's anything else that's about to shoot spores. You can tell because the caps will be pointing more downward before they flatten out. Right when the rim of your cap seems to be pointing downwards, it's going to shoot the spores and you want to get it out of there. For example, this one right here is starting to look a little bit close, so I'm going to take it out. Let's see, this one I can actually see, and just in case I'm going to sterilize the scissors one more time. Never know if the mushroom we just took out has something wrong with it or not, so best just not to contaminate. Just like that. Alright. And here you can see kind of on the edge how these spikes or hairs kind of are pointing downwards. That's exactly what happened to the other mushroom before it shot spores everywhere. So if this one were to shoot spores, given where it was growing on top, that would halt potentially all growth of all other mushrooms on top of your block. So really important to get these guys out at the right time and pay attention to that. All right, moving this to the sterile environment. Okay, next thing we want to do is double check everything else, make sure we're good. Like I've said before, my biggest complaint about the Lykyn system is that it's not so easy to get into, but I guess that keeps it airtight and sanitary and from getting infected with things, so maybe that is intentional by design. All of these other caps do look to be still in good shape and not necessarily ready to come out. Once again, make sure you're not covering up the misting system. That's the most important. And also leave this sensor free. It's misting a lot right now because it's open, so we don't want to leave it open too long. I am going to change gloves before I pick up the lion's mane after cutting mushrooms out of here, just because I don't want to cross-contaminate those. Maybe overcautious, but if we're going to do it right. So. All right, got rubber gloves back on. While I have this out, let's take a look at this lion's mane and just see what we see. I'm kind of surprised it's not growing more just yet. It does look like it's starting to pin underneath. Sorry, that camera may not have been held very well. Yeah, so it looks like there's some pinning happening. But I've been wondering, like, maybe if this got dried out in the shipping or something like that, because I had to wait about a week and a half for the Shitake to be ready. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm a rookie just experimenting here. One thing I am going to do while I have this out is I'm going to spray with some water just to get some extra moisture in there, especially since we took it out. That might be a rookie mistake, but I don't know. I think it makes sense, and I think hopefully that'll help it take off based off of what I've learned. We'll find out. All right. And now I am going to set this back up. One thing I do want to do, though, is rotate my lion's mane from where it was. It was kind of covering up the main hole, I think, where the mist is coming in. So I'm going to put the back on this side and put the cut facing the hole where the mist is going to come up primarily, and see if that makes a difference. So trying two new things out on our experiment here. And now we're just going to put this thing back together, hopefully. You can see how unstable it is, just taking the top off. I just wish there were another piece here to make it easier to get in and out of. But its job is to grow mushrooms, and so far that's happening, so don't complain too much. Alright, and then once we start putting this together, I'm going to snap the top back on. Hopefully gonna torture you guys watching this, but you get the gist of what I'm doing today. I'm gonna just put this back together, put the light back on top, and we'll see where we go from here. All right, I will see you guys next time and keep you updated. One last little note before I end this video. I wanted to point out that I have been using the lights off of my Lykyn grower for this North Spore pink oyster box. Wasn't seeing any results from this until I put it next to this Lykyn grower with the lights, so maybe it's helping out there as well. Anyway, just wanted to throw that in. Talk to you guys next time.